Now, I've fixed dozens of squeaky wood floors over the years, so I'm going to show you everything you need to know to fix yours. Now, I've got a really bad squeak in this floor right here. Now, if you have access from below, this is going to be a simple, easy fix. You're going to be able to fix the squeak 100% of the time. But let's assume you don't have access from below. For whatever reason, you can still get this squeak fixed from up top. I'm going to show you how to do that. This can be very tricky, and there's about a 30% chance that you're just never going to be able to fix the squeak from up top, and I'll show you why that is when we head back down below. But from above, what you want to do is take a 3-inch trim head screw, drive that down through the hardwood, the subfloor, and into the joist. That's going to tie everything together and prevent any kind of wood on nail squeak that might be causing this. To find the joist from above is tricky. If you have access from below and it's a drywall ceiling, take a stud finder down there, figure out the direction and the spacing of the joists. If you have an outside wall, you may be able to measure off that, measure back, and extrapolate it to the top floor. Otherwise, have a look for any kind of ductwork. If you have some heat registers, usually they're going to be in between two of the joists. Up here, I have this one over here. I've taken the register out, I've hooked onto the side, I've measured over, I've extrapolated over, and determined that the joist is going to be right here. Now, before I just throw the screw in, I'm going to do a test hole with about 2 inches of drill bit sticking out. You don't want to drill too deep, and you want to have a drill bit that is slightly smaller than the shank of your screw. So I'm going to drill down here, and as I get deeper, I can feel that I am not hitting into a joist. If you want to confirm, you can take a little wire or a toothpick or something, stuff that down in there. Now, before you get too panicked, just take your drill bit and then drill over on a bit of an angle to see if you can find it. You could be just right on the edge if your calculations have been close. And yes, I can definitely feel that I'm hitting into the joist now. Now it's time to put in the screw. To drive that in, I'm going to use my impactor, and I'm just going to drive that down about 1/4 of an inch from the top. And you can hear that the squeak is better than it was, but there's still a bit of squeak left. At this point here, if you have no access from below, you're going to want to try another screw. Try to figure out if the squeak is coming from the joist over or kind of left or right downstream of that initial screw. I'm going to put one more in here just over to the left. I've moved it over to accommodate for the actual center of the joist, and still got a little bit of a squeak that I'm going to show you why from below. But to cover over the top of the screw hole now, best thing here is a wax crayon. You want to try to find one that's going to match up with your floor. I'll put some Amazon links to a nice little package of the wax crayons as well as the trim head screws. You can definitely find them at local hardware stores as well. Instead of just jamming that stick in there, just take a little bit off with your fingernail, rip off a little piece, roll it around in your finger and really warm it up with friction for about 30 seconds to a minute. Roll it into a bit of a tube, jam it into the top of that screw hole there, and then just mushroom it over with your thumb and really press down on the edges. Now you want to take a little putty knife and then just slice it off perfectly flush. Then take your thumb and just kind of burnish it over so it's nice and smooth. And you can see that looks pretty decent. But on this floor here, I have all these kind of black blemishes and knot holes. So I'm going to take a black Sharpie, color over the top of that wax, and then just smudge it around a bit, and it's going to look just like some of the other blemishes. That's going to be the best way to hide these screws from above. And like I said before, this is going to work a lot of the time, but let's go down below and I'll show you why it didn't work 100% in this case. So the screws from above have solved this problem here, which is poor installation. You can see these nails have missed the joist. There's no glue squeeze out that would help this problem, and you have a bit of a gap. There's a bit of deflection, and these nails are going to rub on the wood, causing the squeak. So those screws are going to prevent that by joining everything together. If you wanted to fix this from below, you could take some wood shims, drive them into this gap, or take some wood screws and just drill them in sideways here, acting as kind of a shim, and that will solve the problem from below. But the reason why there's still a bit of a squeak and why sometimes you can't fix these types of things from above is these joist blocks here. Now, the same guy that was shooting here and missed is also the same guy usually that's nailing these blocks in place, and you just have a bad installation. the nail has missed over here. And the real culprit here is the split in this one piece of wood right here. So then you have a nail with two pieces of wood sandwiched onto it. When the floor deflects, it goes, giving you that horrible squeak noise. You can never really fix that from above, but down below, what you want to do is grab some wood screws. I took some 2-inch wood screws. I pre-drilled so I didn't end up splitting these blocks further, and I just secured them into place properly. And now from above, you can hear that the squeak has been eliminated. And if you've got any troubles with any doors at your place, maybe they're rubbing on the top, they're not latching properly, go ahead and check out this video right over here. Is it good? Probably not, but it might be okay.